Hi, Bashar. It's wonderful to meet you. I just had a question about purifying corruption in the spiritual realm or world. How is it possible, or how would you achieve purifying corrupt spirits in the spirit world? And also, how would you best help lost spirits? Just wanted to see your thoughts on that.
There are no corrupt spirits. In spirit reality, it is pure understanding. Now, a spirit can, in a sense, stay in the lower astral realm if it has what you consider to be unfinished business. This is rare, but it can happen. This is what you might call a ghost with unfinished business, or attempting to get a message through to a physical human. But it is not corrupt. It is simply a choice to stay closer to the earth vibration for its own reasons. There is no such thing as a corrupt spirit. Good day, good day.
Good day, Bashar. It's an honor and pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you.
It is our passion and our pleasure to speak with you as well. What would you like to discuss?
Bashar, my first question and a statement concerns divine femininity.
Yes.
Many women on earth explore and develop their feminine nature. They search for their best divine expression as women on earth. How would you define the term divine femininity, and would you like to explain for us a little bit more about it?
Divine femininity is a balancing and a willingness to be open, to be receptive, to receive, to be nurturing, to support, to allow, to hold, in a sense, metaphorically, in your hands, the energy of humanity and the desire for it to move forward, to expand, and to grow, even as a child is born and given the ability to grow and expand. So it is about the birthing, the supporting of the energy of the birthing of the evolution of humanity into a larger form, a more expanded form, the willingness to support those endeavors, the willingness to seek balance within the masculine energy to provide opportunities for that balance to be created and experienced so that all may move forward in harmony and peace.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
My next questions are related to nature. We are an extension and expression of nature.
Yes.
Sometimes when I go for a walk, I feel like trees talk to me. I feel in communion with them and feel very blissful in their presence.
Yes, of course.
Would you like to tell me what this blissful experience for me is? And would you like to also tell us how do you feel in nature when you are on your planet?
Well, as you do, but we know for a fact that everything is communicating with us and we communicate back. So we understand everything is made of consciousness. We understand that there is constant communication between everything, just as there is in the cells of your body with each other. And we respond to it, and we go with the flow of it. And it supports us and nurtures us and helps us move forward and helps us all together evolve into a new level and a new form. So the idea is to be open to it, open to receiving that communication, because it is there to help and guide and expand, to help all go together in harmony and move forward in that way, in that energy, in that vibration of love, unconditional love.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, my last question concerns unconditional love. You told us that unconditional love is a core vibration of everything.
Yes.
And it is the primary language of existence, a vibrational language. You also mentioned that, in a sense, we can learn to speak this language. And my question is, how can we learn the language of unconditional love?
Through the actions that you take that are in alignment with your passion. Because remember, physical reality is a world of physical action. That's the language of physical reality. Actions, not words, not thoughts, actions. So when your actions are aligned with the unconditional love that you experience when you are acting on your passion, then you are speaking the language of unconditional love in physical terms. You are committing to the idea of the truth of your beingness, of your core vibration, your essential self, your connection to source, as existence itself. So it is through your actions, your demonstrations, your commitments to be an expression of unconditional love by acting on your passion that serves humanity best.
Okay. Thank you very much. You helped
You are
me
very
a lot.
welcome.
I'm very grateful for this conversation.
And our deep appreciation to you, Aveo.
Aveyo.
Hi, Bashar. I had a question about limits on extremities, specifically the ideas of most and least. So we can obviously experience most and least from a human singular lifetime perspective, but I'm talking big picture, all that there is, all that is now, all that's ever been. Can there ever actually be any notions of most or least? Isn't it true that nothing can actually reach a point of most or least, including ourselves, including everything? So when you say your highest self, that idea and that relationship to what I just said is what I'm questioning. Thank you so much.
When we refer to the idea of the higher self, the higher mind, we are actually talking about your soul, your true self, your soul self. Your soul self is in spirit. It is non-physical. It never leaves that. But it creates within itself the idea of a kind of dream or a projection called the physical mind in order to have a focused experience that you call physical reality. But that's happening within the soul. So the greater portion of the soul, still aware of itself as being a non-physical entity in spirit, in the spirit realm. It then sends energy, communications, messages from that portion of itself, talking in a sense to another portion of itself that you call the physical mind. This physical mind creates what you call the physical reality experience with a so-called physical body, which again is just a projection of spirit, of soul. It's happening within the soul, but it's made to seem as if it's not, so that you can experience the idea of time and space, change and growth, discovery, something new, rather than simply being in a timeless state where you know everything you need to know. So in order to grow, in order to have new discoveries, you create this experience called physical reality within the soul. But that's what the higher mind is. It's the soul, your soul, talking to itself from a higher point of view, talking to the physical mind that is now limited in its focus, but receiving guidance and information and help from the portion of the soul that is still connected, still living, still experiencing the spirit realm with a broader point of view. So it's an internal conversation within the soul. That's all the higher mind is to the physical mind. An internal conversation within the soul from one portion of the soul to another portion of the soul that is experiencing a certain kind of focus.
Is interested in breaking limitations. So once they've noticed or realized that there's nothing outside but their self, and limitations still exist due to ego and subject perspectives of the three-dimensional world, what do you think is the best way to step away and further break limitations?
It's important to let go of the limitations that truly limit you from being yourself, but that doesn't mean that limitations are empirically negative. Remember, you're limiting yourself to have a physical experience. Therefore, you're using a limitation to a positive effect, so you can discover something new within yourself and grow and change. So don't just assume that all limitations are negative, or they must all be gotten rid of, or all let go of. You are using limitations for specific positive reasons, but you can let go of the ones that actually truly prevent you from being who you truly are within the limitation of your physical reality experience. So you have to know what limitations are working for you and what limitations are working against you. Limitation is just a neutral concept of creating a focus that benefits you or serves you in some way. So perhaps start using the idea of focus as opposed to limitations if you find that you can't give the word limitations a positive meaning, and see if that changes things up for you.
Okay, and this person is asking or stating that ahead of this social experiment, I think it is important to discuss how being social can be exciting. This person personally finds that if they talk about anything that is exciting to them, they speak very rapidly, like the speed of light. And even if people may not understand what they're saying anymore, they're probably excited by it. Is this good for building social skills, or should we just keep practicing by ourselves over and over again? And do you have any suggestions about how we can practice to build social skills?
Slow down. It does not necessarily improve social skills to be communicating faster than people can absorb it. Otherwise, you are simply superseding the idea of needing any social skills at all. You're simply shooting off in your own direction, and you're not really engaging others. So we would suggest that you find a way to balance it out so that even though people may pick up on your excitement vibration, and that can be beneficial, if there is something else in the information you are sharing with them that could also benefit them, but are preventing them from actually absorbing it by going so fast, then you're not really socializing. So we would suggest that you find a balance point so that everything that you believe is important for you to share, everything that is representative of your passion and your gift to share to other people, is something that other people can at least have an opportunity, a probability of absorbing. Not that everyone has to. You can find your natural pace, but moving so fast that most people can't follow you is not your natural pace. It is the result of impatience.
So some people are very good at storytelling.
Yes.
Whereas others are not.
Yes.
And that can be a factor in social skills.
Yes.
Can you make some suggestions about how to become a better storyteller?
Well, learn the elements. Learn the different points of story structure. They're innately built into your psyche and everyone's psyche. So when you hit those marks, when you hit those resonant chords in story structure, that's when people retain more information because you have hit those chords within them. They have felt you hit the marks that allow them the opportunity to make elements of that story relatable, to make them their own, in their own story. And they're willing to do that when you pluck the right chords in the right timing. That's real communication. So learn story structure and learn how to tell stories following that basic structure. Learn how to communicate information in that way. And you will find that more people will be receptive. That's how stories have lasted for thousands upon thousands of years. Whereas information that doesn't follow story structure usually vanishes relatively quickly, is usually not retained.
And as far as other social skills that could be improved, what are some ways of practicing that? Or,
well, you're being vague. What other social skills are you talking about?
Well, they just call it social skills and they want to know how to practice it or do it so that they're better when they go into social systems.
All right. Well, since you have asked the question in a generalized form, we will give you a generalized answer. The best way to improve social skills in general is to find ways in activities that are of service to humanity. So be of service.
That is great.
This will be included in one of the upcoming steps of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment. So we will cover all of that. but that step is coming up. For now, focus on the steps we have delivered. You can add to them based on following your passion and following the formula in what seems natural to you in terms of your timing. But we will outline all these things in the upcoming steps.
And do these social skills translate over to ET contact type of scenarios?
They do. Because one of the primary things of the Interstellar Alliance is to be of service to all. Therefore, actions that are taken that are of service to others is one of the best ways to achieve social skills and connection and understanding.
Okay, and along the idea of following your passion, this person is asking about the concept of discipline as it relates to following your passion. They're saying that sometimes it feels like they're passionate and it takes an extraordinary amount of effort to feeling like not doing it or not motivated.
All right.
And
we understand this concept. But you have a saying on your planet, a labor of love is no labor at all. Now, yes, of course, you are going to expend some physical effort to accomplish things. But when you actually are acting on your passion, you don't mind because you find ways in your creativity and your imagination to do them in the least effort way, in the most effortless way. So you don't mind expending some activity, using your body if you have to, whatever it is you need to do, because it becomes synchronous and harmonious with the energy of your passion. And even though you may be tired at the end of the day and excited about resting as part of your passion, it doesn't matter because you still feel like you have accomplished and you feel good about yourself and you have a very good feeling in your body about having done something. So the idea is that if you find that it is too much of an effort, you are coming out of the vibration of your passion. You are not staying in the vibration of your passion. There's judgment in there and other things that are taking you out of that frequency so that things do become more of an effort. They do become more of a struggle. That should be your first clue that you're actually leaving the vibration of your passion, which means you have definitions of what you're doing that are not harmonious with the frequency of your passion. You may be doing it in ways that are not representative of your highest passion. And this is why we suggest that you really open up your imagination and your creativity and find ways to do things differently that are more in alignment with the frequency of your passion, because there's always a way. There is always an alternative way to do what you're truly passionate about in a more exciting way. If you can't find any way to do that, then what you're doing may not truly actually be representative of your passion. So you have to really dig down deep and ask yourself those questions. Is what I am saying I'm passionate about actually really my passion? Or am I just forcing myself to think that it is because I'm afraid of the alternative for one reason or another? But if it really is representative of your passion in the general sense, then there will always be ways for you to use your creativity and imagination to find more exciting ways to do that thing that will allow you to feel like it is more effortless.
Now, coming back to the idea of contact.
Yes.
Considering the situation in our world at present, will world leaders be participating in the first open contact scenario?
Some of them will, not all of them will.
And why would they not be involved?
They would not be of the proper frequency.
Okay. So will they actually have contact alone before there's a general contact?
We cannot say what will work for each individual that may be involved in contact. Different people will have different things happen in different ways that work for them.
And are there specific locations where upcoming contact might occur, or is it just really the person's individual vibration that?
There are locations that are more conducive to the idea of contact. We're not going to provide you a list at this time. We have mentioned from time to time some higher probable areas on your planet that may be more probable to have the idea of open contact. But again, we are not providing a list at this time.
Okay. In your last transmission, or last January transmission, you told us that the Pleiadians will be among the first ET races to contact us openly.
Yes.
What about the Anunnaki? Are they genetically related to each other?
Well, yes, the Pleiadians were, in a sense, the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki have evolved. There are no more Anunnaki in the original sense. Many of them have become the Pleiadian civilization.
Okay, and there's a lot of symbols on our planet to represent faith, protection, etc. Are there any symbols you can provide us with that help us align with contact?
We've already provided that in the contact crystal. The hexagon with a spiral in its center is a symbol of contact and a symbol of the evolution of humanity in becoming the sixth hybrid race, which is all about the idea of belonging to the interstellar alliance.
And how is life within the dimension that you're from? How do you live and socialize? Are you in a meditative state all the time? And do you have a physical body?
Yes, we have a physical body, which we have described on occasion, about being 5 feet tall on average, relatively thin. Our heads are slightly larger than yours. Our eyes are much larger than yours. Ears, nose, mouth, much smaller than yours. Our skin is usually very pale white, paper white. The males have no hair. The females do. It tends to be white. We are hybrid beings. The idea is that it is kind of like living a meditation, as I said earlier. We walk through multidimensionalities, almost like walking through a series of dreams, but we know they're all real. We communicate with spirits constantly. We're in touch with them and we can perceive them because we are quasi-physical ourselves, almost spirit ourselves in our evolutionary path. So it's like living in a very colorful, very beautiful, very multidimensional, very multifaceted daydream, connecting to all sorts of parallel realities as we move through life, experiencing the different ones that we are connected to that serve us, recognizing the ones that we can use to serve others in a very multidimensional way. So we can see many parallel realities simultaneously. It's like walking through a multidimensional daydream and a meditation all at once. We don't know if that really explains it to you, but that's a close analogy.
And regarding the evolution of humans, will the hybridization project result in humans being, being wiped out essentially, and there will be no more Homo sapiens?
In a sense, the blending will allow you to become hyper sapiens, Homo galacticus. You're actually becoming more fully human with the hybridization program. So the idea is that it helps you reach your full potential as hyper sapiens, as the fullest expression of Homo sapiens.
But of course, there will still be Earths where there are Homo sapiens.
Yes, of course. And those that navigate in those directions will remain in the Earths and the versions of them that still have Homo sapiens as you generally know them to be now. But there are versions where the evolution moves you in the direction of becoming hyper-sapient.
So along the lines of extinction and the species that go extinct upon Earth.
They're still existing on a different Earth. Homo erectus still exists on a different Earth. But you're not there anymore. So, being Homo sapiens, well, you decided to navigate yourself to the versions of Earth where Homo erectus no longer was perceivable. That doesn't mean that they have been wiped out or ceased to exist. You're just not on that Earth anymore. So the idea is that depending on what choices you make, you will navigate yourself toward versions of Earth where you will continue to experience yourself as Homo sapiens in the way that you do now, more or less, or you will navigate yourself to the versions of Earth where you can experience yourselves as hypersapiens, Homo galacticus. You're still human, you're just more fully human.
So in a way, what you've just explained to us changes the dynamic from experiencing fear of extinction to recognizing that there's always that still in existence, and that you're allowed to choose a reality where that does not currently exist, that which is
where it's not experienced. Yes, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, it just means it's not experienced that way. The dinosaurs still exist in the way that you know them to have existed in what you call your past. They're just on a different Earth now.
And yet that doesn't mean that just because you can let things go extinct and not take any action to preserve species,
no, it doesn't mean
that is necessarily, you can have a cavalier attitude of, well, it exists somewhere, so who cares?
Yes,
right?
That's a negative take on the idea. Again, the actions that are representative of the version of Earth you say you prefer to live on, if they're positively oriented, would mean not out of fear, but out of love and out of connection, you do take preservation actions to create the version of Earth physically as best as you can that will allow you to navigate to that version. So you're creating a simulacrum through your actions of the Earth you say you prefer to live on, so that you can manifest it for yourself in the navigation of the shifts you do to that version of Earth. That's why actions are so important. So yes, you take the actions to preserve that which you prefer to experience, so that you're creating the blueprint for you experiencing that version of Earth. That's how you navigate. That's why we give you the formula, because the actions are important that you take in the formula to create the blueprint for the version of Earth that you're navigating toward. It doesn't mean the blueprint doesn't exist, but the blueprint then is imposed within you, so that you are vibrationally more coherent with that version of Earth. Do you understand this concept?
Yes.
All right.
And also the idea of free will and destiny. There's been some questions that have come up about that, of whether we really have free will.
Yes, of course you do. But you have free will within the context of the free will your spirit chose to have as an experience, which you're calling destiny. So it was the free will of your soul that said, I'm going to experience this kind of life with this personality. And within that personality, you have the free will of how to experience that personality. But your destiny is to experience that personality. But the destiny, that personality, was chosen by the free will of your soul.
Okay. And final question would be about dolphins and other animals that will also be involved in the contact experience, and how cetaceans are different from humans in regards to contact.
Well, they've already, in a sense, made contact telepathically with many different ET species, especially those that exist in the star system you know as Sirius. So, in a sense, they're a little bit ahead of you in terms of contact. They have already understood that contact is happening. And again, as we remind you, there are actually certain indigenous tribes of humans on your planet that have been experiencing contact for millennia. So it's only certain cultures on your planet that are catching up to the idea that contact has already begun, and in some phases is actually being experienced by some beings on your planet, human and otherwise.
Okay, and so is there anything else you'd like to share? Because I think we're out of time now.
There is nothing else that you need at this moment, except what we have said about your desire, your willingness, your choice to act on as many or as few steps as you wish to what we are delivering as suggestions for you to align yourself to the idea of the benefits you can receive by being more harmoniously aligned with the interstellar alliance and the idea of open contact as an experience. It's up to you. It's in your hands. We leave it there. So we thank you for the co-creation this day of your time. Our unconditional love to you all. Aveo. We are in service to you. Good day.
All right, I'll say allow us to continue this transmission. How are you all? Did you all have an enjoyable refreshment period? All right. Let us begin by saying that there once was a girl who was sowing some seeds that then began growing on a nearby hill that gave her her fill of knowing that caused her great glowing. Knowingness. Did you write down the 5 things that you know? Is there anyone who would like to begin sharing? All right. What do you know for sure? Begin. What do you know for certain?
I know that there is a connection to dawn which I cannot, beyond what I can see.
All right. Number 1. Number 2.
Number 2, I know that telepathy and deep nonverbal communication exists within me and some of those people and birds to which I interact.
All right. Number 3.
I know that I am.
All right. Anything else?
Yes. I know that something is happening with regard to manifestations of numbers and names.
All right.
And I don't know.
I did not ask you what you
Okay,
didn't know.
I do know that. I do know that
All right.
much.
What else do you know?
I know that which I have doubts of become more transparent when interacting with Bashar.
All right. All that said, if that is what you know, all else at this moment is supposition. The idea is to relax the supposition and stay in the state of your knowing and allow whatever needs to reveal itself to you about what you know to simply reveal itself in whatever way it chooses to do so. Because however it does so will then, as you know, be a reflection of that knowing state and will not have to be guessed at for what it is or what it represents or what it reflects to you. When you stick simply, first and foremost, with what you know and take the guesswork out of it and do not ponder what you don't know, you can then be assured, you can then also know that whatever represents itself to you, whatever manifests to you, whatever is reflected to you, will be a product of that knowing state, even if it comes in a form you did not expect or imagine would happen. To drop the expectation sufficiently where you can allow the knowing state to really show you what you need to know, and by elimination, reveal what you don't need to know at that moment, will allow you greater clarity in every moment of your life. Thank you. Next person to share what you know. No. Next person to share what you know.
I'll share.
All right. One second has passed.
Okay. I know I am a talented writer.
All right.
I know I have created a wonderful organization.
All right.
I know I have people who love me in my life.
All right.
I know I am a loving person.
All right.
And I know that I impact many people.
No. Remember what we said about impact.
Can you remind me, please?
Yes. You do impact everyone. This is true. But remember that the idea of what you do doesn't cause the impact. It only reveals it.
Oh, right.
Remember?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
You all already have all the impact you will ever have. What you do by following your joy does not create more impact. It reveals the impact you're already having.
Then I can rephrase that to say, I know that I have the realization
Yes.
that I am
It is all right for you to say it the way you said it as long as you realize how it is meant.
Yes.
Structurally.
Yes.
Stay again in those states of knowing. All else that is not revealed in that state does not need to be known at this moment.
Even if I'm getting the reflection back from people that I have impacted them, isn't that true?
That's a revelation of your impact.
Okay.
It is not that the thing you did caused it. The thing you did revealed it. And they are simply reflecting the revelation. We are discussing the difference, which may at times seem to be a fine line, but isn't. We're discussing the difference between falling into the illusion that you need to do something to impact the world and living in the realization that you already all impact the world and that by following your joy you are simply uncovering and revealing that impact as opposed to having to do something special in order to cause the impact. So what's being reflected to you is simply the revelation of impact you already have just by the very fact of your existence.
Then I'll rephrase that to say that I know that I'm following my joy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bashar.
Who else would like to share what they know for certain?
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
After trying this experiment, something interesting came to me. Everything that I thought I knew or know, I could contradict.
Very good.
And
so what
I just,
do you actually know for certain?
For certain that I don't know Jack.
Who's that?
You don't know Jack either.
But I did not ask you what you don't know.
No,
you do know at least the few things we discussed this day. And I said you could use them on your list if you wished to. You do know that you exist.
Maybe I'm getting too esoteric, and I probably am.
Maybe you are.
But,
do you know that you exist? Of course you do.
It feels like I do. I think I am.
You do. Because if you can think you do, you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to think that you do. Correct? Do you not see the simple logic?
Yeah, I mean, I do at one level for sure.
There is no other level here. That's the point. And that's where you get too esoteric. You think there are more levels and there's more complexity than there is. There isn't. Do you exist? Yes or no? There is no other answer. And no is not possible as an answer.
Then I'm getting way too esoteric.
Yes.
Yes,
so that's another thing you know.
Touché.
Don't get all French with me.
Oui. Okay. I.
Would you like to simply take time to make a new list?
Sure.
Attempting it from a less esoteric place?
I know I have feeling.
All right. You see how simple that is?
And I know I have an experience that I'm becoming more familiar with of this invisibility I spoke about yesterday.
All right. You see, knowing statements are simple statements. They are not complicated. They are simple statements.
So maybe what it is it's something where I know it for myself, but I can't prove it to anybody else.
That is not a criteria.
Right. And maybe that's what I was thinking.
Because you can't prove anything to anyone else anyway.
Anyway, right. Okay.
You can't even prove you exist to anyone else.
I know. That's the discussion I had.
But that's not the question. I only asked you what you knew, not what you felt you had to prove.
Yep.
And that's very revealing.
I got it.
And now you know that about yourself.
I got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let us for a moment shift to the idea of what you may call the regular questions. We will come back to what you know.
Hello, Bashar.
And good day to you.
Greetings. First thing I'm going to do is give you my list. I actually don't have 5 things on my list.
All right.
I only have 3 things.
All right.
I know that I exist.
Yes.
I know what I observe.
Yes.
I know what I feel.
Yes.
Anything else is just a detail of one of those 3.
That's 4 things.
No, I'm just speculating that last one.
It's still something you know.
I know, I'm kidding.
All right.
Okay, now to the question that I want to ask. You've mentioned the subject of time this weekend several times. And I want to revisit the question that was asked last night about the concept of frequency and the fact that it is a function of time.
Yes.
And I want to get into some more technical detail about that.
All right.
Now, I've been aware for 30 some odd years that our experience of physical reality is a sequential focusing of our attention on a sequence of different universes, if I'm understanding correctly. Very much in the way that...
In a sense, yes.
Yeah, in the way that motion picture film is a sequence of still frames.
This is, of course, all still an analogy, but it will do as a representative one with regard to the third-dimensional space-time matrix. Yes.
Okay, and I am speaking specifically of physical reality.
Yes, I know.
And within this context, it would mean that within the idea of an infinitude of different universes and different realities and different dimensions is the idea that when we experience movement, what we are actually experiencing is instantaneous shifts from one physical reality, from one dimension to another one that is very, very close in structure.
Yes.
And going through a whole series of these, just like a series of frames in a motion picture.
Correct.
Gives the illusion of motion.
Yes.
And that motion gives the illusion of time.
Yes.
Because we do it at a very deliberate pace for the most part, especially when we have a clock that is measuring this. That movement of the clock really establishes the standard of time.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm correct in my understanding that each of these frames of physical reality is essentially static?
Yes.
Okay. And this gets back to the change and no change idea that we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Everything is changed, but there is no change.
Correct.
Okay. So each of these physical realities is static.
Yes.
And now let's bring in the idea of frequency.
Yes.
Frequency is vibrations per unit of time.
Yes.
But time is the illusion of motion, which is a shifting from one dimension to the next. And I'm wondering exactly how frequency relates to that shifting from one dimension.
The frequency that you create in your consciousness when you create the illusion of time is what determines exactly which frames fall into the slot that give you your sense of continuity. Does that make sense?
I didn't totally get it. No.
All right. The ideas that you create in your consciousness, the illusion of time, by creating the concept of frequency.
Yeah.
In doing so, once you have created that, it then determines which of the static sequence of parallel realities you actually experience as your continuity of motion. Because let's just say, again, even though I understand there may be shortcomings in third-dimensional language to express this, let's say you choose to operate on a certain frequency within your consciousness.
Okay.
By establishing that frequency, by setting up that illusion of time and frequency, you might choose every third frame, or every second frame, or every fifth frame as your expression of change in space.
Okay.
So the frequency at which you operate determines exactly how you experience the idea of the continuity of motion.
Okay.
Which frames are represented in that sense.
Okay. So would the higher frequency be a skipping of more frames
Yes.
Okay. But really, there's not really a skipping of frames. It's just
No, not really.
that those frames that you're quote unquote skipping just aren't part of that motion picture of your existence.
Correct.
Okay. Now let's get into the idea of frequency of non-physical beings.
Yes.
Because I understand that they also experience or express a frequency.
To some degree, yes.
Okay. But if they are not experiencing or not focused in physical reality,
Yes.
and we've been talking about frequency of progression of attention on frames in physical reality.
Yes.
There
are frames of non-physical reality, too.
Okay. So
They are just of a different quality.
different quality. What would distinguish the quality that they experience from the quality we experience?
It would be similar to the analogy, perhaps, of having double exposures in each frame. So that you can actually focus on one thing or another in any frame. It's not quite so structured, not quite so limited.
Okay, let me bring into this discussion another technological analogy.
Yes.
Our motion picture frame is, our motion picture film is a series of frames connected together in a sequence, and you can actually cut these.
Yes.
But we have now nonlinear editing,
Yes.
an electronic thing, where you can put the frames together in any way you want.
Yes.
And almost set it to go random, and it'll pick frames.
Yes, and this is also a quality of the frames in non-physical reality.
Okay, this is what I'm thinking. What you're describing sounds to me like the nonlinear editing
Yes.
approach.
So you could say physical reality is more linear based and non-physical reality is more non-linear based, even though they're both using frames.
Okay, so then getting back to the concept of frequency.
Yes.
Both physicals and non-physicals experience or express the idea of frequency.
Yes.
The non-physicals at the higher frequency,
Yes.
I'm getting the idea that means that they are, does it mean that they are experiencing the frames of reality at a higher rate?
It doesn't always mean that, although they can.
Okay.
What it really is more like is the concept of high definition that now exists in your reality. There's more information per frame that they can access.
Okay, and I'm getting that they can probably look at a lot of different frames at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Which constitutes the idea of double exposed frames or multiply exposed frames.
Yeah.
From their point of view.
Okay. I was thinking more like a bank of television sets, but I see how
any analogy will work.
Okay,
yes.
I gotcha. Even then, it still implies that there's some kind of the fact that there's a sequentialness to it.
Yes.
Implies that there's kind of a fundamental idea of time that doesn't necessarily, or rather,
yes, I know where you're going.
Is not rigid for the non-physicals, but
Yes.
more rigid for the physicals.
Yes. Remember that. anything aside from the one must experience some degree of what you're talking about, or it wouldn't be represented as different from the one.
Thank you. That totally clarifies that whole thing.
It's just a matter of degree.
Yeah. Okay. And in physical reality, at least in our physical reality at this point in time,
Yes.
our time is highly structured
Yes.
and very standardized, except for people who are wafting out of it
Yes.
and back into it and that kind of
That's what the idea of the increase of your frequency is all about, is you're starting to exist in that quasi-planar reality that is shifting dimensionalities and gives you more access to more information per frame.
thing. Okay. Now, relating this to your experience in your reality,
Yes.
I understand that you move around. You may walk from your control chair to the doorway of your spacecraft. So you are experiencing time also.
To some degree, yes. Although we have more facility with allowing it to be more flexible. Yes.
I understand, but if you are actually walking from your chair to the door,
Yes.
that is an experience of time.
Yes.
And although in the next instant you may be down on the surface of your planet,
Yes.
and then back up
Yes.
2 instants later,
Yes.
there is the sense of time in that there's actual movement and you can observe movement.
Yes.
People walking around on your planet.
We understand it enough to be able to relate to your sense of time, yes.
Okay.
And it is a realm that we ourselves have, at least to some degree, also come up through. We were, in that sense, more structured in the beginning of our evolution than we are now.
Mm-hmm. Were you ever as structured or at least standardized in your experience of time as we are?
No.
Okay.
We were created to be less standardized to begin with.
Gotcha. Okay. I believe that answers my question in its entirety.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And one more time, take a deep breath and relax. If you wish now, for a while, we may have sharing interaction.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
First of all, Raven asked me to send you her love.
All right. Our love as well, in return.
And for those who don't know, Bashar's birthday, Earth Day, is November 11th, so I'd like to wish you a happy pre-birthday.
Thank you.
And for those who are listening in who couldn't see it, I wanted to say how impressed I am that you were able to make a paper airplane with your eyes closed and to sail it out into the audience. So thank you for sharing that.
You are, and with us, all at once, together making the plane.
Thank you. And thank you so much for this weekend and for this information you're sharing, because it really resonates with me where I am in my life right now. And I feel I've come so far in the 23 years that I've been with you.
All right.
First of all, last time I interacted with you, I shared how I was driving a very old car and very nervous about it.
Yes.
And shortly thereafter, I was able to get a new car.
All right.
And I was able to manifest other material things in my life.
Yes.
My organization, Create Now, is making great progress and strides.
All right.
And I've been following your lesson that it's taken me all these years to learn,
That's
which is to surrender.
Yes.
And thank you.
Why? Why does that work?
I'm trusting.
Simple.
Okay.
Why does that work?
Because I know.
Because those things exist within you. They're not things that exist outside of you, really. So the idea of the law of attraction is not so much literally that you're attracting things to you from outside. It's that you, yourself, recognize those things are already within you as part of your definition of being. You follow me?
Yes.
Attraction is really just awakening to what's already within you and allowing yourself to know that they are part of the definition of who you are.
So thank you. And so when I feel those moments of anxiety or fear,
yes,
then I need to just focus on the I am and the knowing and to let go and surrender for the anxiety.
Why not?
That's great. That's great information, and I plan to use it.
Oh, all right, but you don't even have to plan it. You just do it.
I'm doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I was also pleased that, over the years my friends have teased me that I'm always asking a million questions. And I didn't really have any compelling questions to ask you. I've just felt I needed to share.
As we have said, you do not need questions to communicate with us. You can always make statements if you wish.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But last night we were discussing with Darryl, the channel, the idea of your relationship with him as a future self.
Yes.
And we had as a group a question about whether genetics are involved with that. Because you're a hybrid entity and a future self, are Darryl's genetics a part of you as well?
Yes.
And is there anything else you can elaborate on that?
At the end of this transmission today, after your break, we have a little story surprise.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the synchronous introduction.
Hi, Bashar.
And are you good day?
At the beginning of the meditation, I was staring at the crystal before we closed our eyes, and I felt like I had this strong image talking about this knowing sense, and when you were mentioning about dropping the veil, and
yes.
Of the facets of the crystal being this representation of all of our parts and selves and thoughts and ideas. And I want to talk and take that knowing idea and talk about the idea of how you've often said that we can't really meet you, at least at this point, in person, because we would feel fractured. And I feel like those two ideas are connected.
Yes.
And I got that strongly, and I got the idea, and when you mentioned the film frame about the focus,
yes.
I'm looking for a bridge here in terms of being able to be closer to being more cohesive and, I don't know how to say this, connected within myself, to be able to be closer to the idea of meeting you or people like you, or being my better self or my more whole self.
All right. First of all, remember that what we have also already said is that many of you have actually physically already met us. You just don't remember.
Physically. Not
physically.
Okay. Not in dreams.
Do you remember when we talked about encountering the race we called the Thuk?
Yes.
And how their special quality was that as long as you were talking to them and facing them, everything seemed normal. But as soon as you turned away, you completely forgot you had had that conversation with them at all.
Yes.
Well, we have learned a thing or two from them. And so, part of the idea of slowly forming contact with all of you is that we are using that technique to actually appear to some of you physically, but then allow you to forget so that it doesn't interfere with your normal life, but at the same time, it's always there within your consciousness that you've actually already met us. So the more you start to remember that you have already met us, the more you allow your imagination to play with the fact that you've actually already met us, the sooner you will remember you have met us, and the sooner you will create the appropriate state in which to meet us again without forgetting. Because it's already happened. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But?
Okay, I get it.
Are you sure?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Can you play with that?
I can.
All right. So play with the fact in your imagination. Let a picture unwind, if you wish to use the word imagine or pretend. An actual encounter where you really have met us face to face. Imagine it. Doesn't matter if it's absolutely, literally accurate, according to how it actually did happen. Use that as a symbol to garner the energy of the encounter. And as soon as you start playing with that, little bit at a time, in those imaginary scenarios, when you imagine them in a relaxed state, little bits of them will start to come to life. Little bits of those pictures in your mind, those encounters, as they play out in your imagination, will suddenly take on a life of their own. For example, you might suddenly see an image of us turn and look at you in a way you didn't imagine. And you will suddenly recognize that you're actually remembering part of the actual encounter. It will have a realistic quality to it, a lucid quality to it. If you're a little bit taken aback by that at the moment, it's all right. Because it may appear that suddenly your own imagination is not under your control. But it is. It's just that you are allowing bits and pieces of that recollection to come to life again. And suddenly the reality will supersede whatever symbol you've created in your imagination, no matter how realistic it may appear. It will take on a dimensional quality of actual life. And in that snippet, in that moment, in that fraction of an instant, you will see the true life in our eyes, and you will know that the encounter was real. And the more you do that, the more real it will become, until such time as there is no difference between what is unfolding in your imagination and suddenly, out of that state, out of that imagining, one day, you will blink and think you're coming out of your imagination, but we will still be standing in front of you. And you will realize we have arrived.
I see.
Now, does that help?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will add one more bit of information we have not been allowed to share with you until now. As we have said, we will not be the first hybrid species to interact with you openly. The first will be those that are more representative of the immediate time frame closer to yours that represents the creation of the hybrid children from your own genetics, your own family coming back. And we have mentioned that some of the sightings you have had, such as the one known as the Phoenix Lights, are the ships of the hybrid species that will be the ones to make first open contact with you. Some of this information about them will appear in the story we're going to tell you after the break. All right? Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
I know you. Good day.
I would like to talk a little bit about what you said before. Thank you very much for this sharing.
You are welcome.
Is it when I settle myself, identify myself, not as any kind of physical or psychological form, but a field of consciousness?
Yes.
It's doesn't matter what kind of experience.
No. In fact, it doesn't even require that. When you say I am, it doesn't even require any kind of representation to go along with it at all.
So you're staying just at this field, and that's it. It doesn't matter.
You're not even necessarily a field. You don't even have to think of yourself as a field of consciousness. You are literally the 0 point. I am. It doesn't even have to be represented as a field. A field is a secondary manifestation. 0 point doesn't experience itself as a manifestation of anything other than its own existence.
So, in a sense, it's closer to non-existence, to the.
It is as close as possible as you can come to the concept of non-existence, because you cannot become non-existent. But it's as close as you can get within existence. Yes.
Okay.
It is the very 0 moment of existence itself, the very essence of existence itself, the I am realization.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, very much.
Thank you.
And another question: you told that in spirit you can have some kind of individual,
yes, of course,
conscious existence. So, is it individuality in the sense of 0 point, or it's something different?
No, it's something different. You can have more access, in that sense, more easily without the space-time construct to the 0 point experience, but you can also very easily manipulate and make malleable your own identity in a variety of ways. It's that you can still have identity, but your identity is much more flexible than you allow for in physical reality. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
Thank you. In listening to your description of holographic images,
yes.
I would very much appreciate a feedback or any sort of giving of information that you could lend to me in helping me to, at this point in my life, determine the pivotal nature of where I am taking my set of gifts and talents, which I have been developing.
Which are what?
I feel very closely connected with children,
Yes.
with music,
All right.
with dance.
All right. And these things are representative of your passions?
Yes, indeed.
And thus then automatically by definition, obviously, representative of your true nature?
Yes.
So then where in your imagination do you wish to take them? How in your imagination do you wish to express them? How in your imagination do you see yourself expressing these things?
I see myself allowing those who I contact to become more and more of themselves and to become more and more transformed.
All right. So what do you see yourself doing that would allow them the opportunity to choose to allow themselves to become more and more of themselves? What do you actually describe and define as the behavior, the actual actions you see yourself doing in your imagination that would allow others to be able to do this?
I see myself throwing up my hands with children, dancing freely,
Yes.
expressing joy,
All
and
right. Anything else?
I see video documentation.
All right. Are these things you have begun to actually do?
In certain senses.
Are there ways in which you would like to do them more passionately, more fully, more creatively?
Absolutely.
Will you do them? Is there anything stopping you from doing them?
I don't think there is anything stopping me. I would just, I think it's a matter of development.
A matter of development. Which means what?
Which means that, little by little, I think.
How little? By how little?
I think that's up to me, I guess.
Yes! It can be this little, 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 it can be this little. Or it can be this big. It's up to you. Completely up to you based on your ability to believe what you are ready to process, what you are ready to see, what you are ready to learn, what you're ready to know about yourself. Which brings us to another aspect of knowing, because when you come from a state of knowing and you look at all the situations in your life from a state of knowing, you're going to know a lot more about yourself as well. Being willing to let it be all right to know a lot more about yourself and see the illusions you have been creating for yourself is part and parcel of your ability to use knowingness effectively. So when you go through your process, little by little, lot by lot, however you choose to develop, you can then take to heart that what your state of knowingness brings you about yourself is also equally important for you to achieve even greater states of knowing. You follow?
I do.
But don't hesitate. Do what you see in your imagination as best as your belief system will allow. Because that's the only way you're going to be that person, is by copying her. Copying the her you see in your imagination, doing the things you say you would like to do. As passionately as you see her doing them, do them that way. That's what she's for. To show you how to be that person. That's what your imaginations are for. To show you how to be the person you imagine you would like to be. All you have to do is behave like that person in all the circumstances of your life that you see her behaving that way in. Be like her. Be like him. Then you will be her, you will be him, and you will have her life, his life. Make sense?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Happy dancing.
Thank you.
Let us move to a different level of understanding of this leading edge and this wave of transformation. As we have said, obviously, wherever it is you decide to position yourself, either at the leading edge or in the wake, there will be consequences commensurate to whatever vibratory gradation you are choosing to reside in. I will now explain and describe one of the effects that is now going on relative to us and others like us with respect to this vibrational wave of your leading edge of critical mass consciousness. Some time ago, in terms of time as you count time, we told you that things would be speeding up, and that if you did not align yourself very rapidly with your true passion, it's not that you couldn't do it later, but that you would make it more difficult to do later because you would feel that you had to hurry up and catch up, and there would be more details for your rational mind to have to deal with and integrate in order for you to match the frequency of the now accelerating leading edge of that wave. Here is another example of what we mean by that, and why it is so important, if you wish to be true to yourself, to really let yourself go to ride that leading edge and not hang back. But again, it's up to you. But here is another effect with respect to us. You must understand, we have an agreement with your collective consciousness. In order for us to be able to interact with you in this way, in order for us to be able to impart these kinds of ideas and this kind of information to you and to share with you and discuss with you these notions, we have to abide by the vibrational agreement we have made. As you accelerate, and I know this is going to get a little bit heady, but follow along. It'll be worth it. As you accelerate, every moment you change, you are creating new parallel realities to go along with the change in you. Because every change is a total change, as we have said. And when you talk about total change, we mean universal change. So every change is a whole new parallel reality. Even if one parallel reality may be only different from another by one atom, it's still a completely different reality. Totally different. And as you change and as you make decisions, you go through, you bring yourself through a succession of parallel reality shifts so automatically, so smoothly, you don't even always recognize that that's what you're doing. But you see, movement itself, the perception of movement of any kind, is actually the perception of a succession of parallel realities. This is one reality. This is another. 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 And in between those positions were an infinite number of other parallel realities that we have all just agreed to go through together. And so we all think we're all in the same room at the same time, and that nothing much has changed except maybe that it's getting a little bit closer to lunch. But you see, for as many of you as are quote-unquote in the room, there are that many rooms, literally distinctly different rooms. And each of you is actually creating that room and all the people in it in your universe, just as someone else is agreeing to create that room and all the people in it in their universe. And those two points of view will actually not only be slightly different as points of view, they will not actually be different points of view of the same room at all. They will be points of view of completely different parallel reality rooms. The only reason you have a common experience at all is that you agree to in any way, shape, or form. But here is the thing. As you upgrade, as you levitate your frequency, as you raise it up and enlighten yourself and create parallel realities, shift yourself to parallel realities that are more representative of that change, then as we have said, certain things will no longer be experienced or perceived by you, because they are simply no longer of the vibration of the new reality you have shifted to. This, we believe, we think, we suppose, we assume, you all kind of get. But what you may not realize is that our agreement with your higher consciousness allows us to interact with you in certain ways
on certain levels. But when you shift yourself to another level, you are then allowed to perceive that aspect of us that has made the agreement to interact with you on that level. But if you don't shift to that level, you will not perceive that aspect of us that has agreed to interact with anyone on that level. And as things change, and as the leading edge of your collective consciousness moves forward toward critical mass, a lot of the positions farther down the line in the wake of the leading edge are vibrationally no longer representative of our ability to interact. And so, for anyone staying in those vibrations, we and all such information will begin to unplug and disappear from your reality as we move up the line. That's why we urge you to keep pace with us. Because if you experience that sensation of being left behind, it's not because we're leaving you behind. It's because you're choosing to be left behind. Because we are not in control of this. You are. It's your consciousness determining these different gradients within the collective wake behind the leading edge. We cannot and are not allowed to and are not in control of interacting at those points farther down the line anymore. We have no say in it. When your collective consciousness determines that somewhere far down the wake is no longer vibrationally conducive to the vibration of our interaction with your consciousness in that state, then it is your collective consciousness that is making that reality experience happen. We cannot control that. We do not control that. We are not leaving anyone behind. You are choosing to be left behind if you no longer experience us or information of this nature in those states. That's why we urge you, come with us. Come with us. We are always inviting you to come with us. But coming with us means you must change. Because where we are all going, the you have been cannot exist. So we are constantly inviting you to come with us. If you don't come with us, it's not because we have left you out. It's because you have. We don't wish you to. That's why we constantly invite you to change and are constantly reflecting the nature of that change so that when you pick up on it and when you match our frequency, you can change in that way and be equals with us on that level and move forward toward more and more and more and more and more crystallized realization and manifestation of contact, wherein we will then be on a similar enough vibratory level that we can simply continually interact from that point forward. But if you don't move forward through what you may perceive to be changes you don't want, you will not be able to actually experience that reality, and you will no longer be able to experience us or anything like us, because we will simply no longer be germane for the gradient in which you have chosen to remain. Ooh, that rhymed. This is the nature of our agreement with your collective consciousness. So it's out of our hands, and that's why we've always said it's completely up to you. Completely up to you. But things are accelerating. Things are changing. That's the reason why you perceive changes in us. Changes in our agenda. Changes in our accessibility, our availability. Come with us. Come with us and learn new ways of accessing what we are, what you are, what the universe is. And then you will know you are never cut off. You are never left behind. You are never out of touch if you don't prefer to be. But the physical mind may say, again, with its rational self, but I want to be in touch this way or that way. But that may not be conducive to the leading edge. Therefore, in its insistence to be in charge, it will remain where it chooses to remain, and it will receive the consequences of the vibration of that gradient. No more, no less. And it can choose to change from there anytime it wishes, but again, it will do so in a different way. And it will not necessarily have available to it the same things it did have when it had the opportunity to take advantage of the things that existed in that gradient for as long as they did. Move with it. Move with it. Ride the wave. Come with us. Come with us. Come with us. We invite you. We invite you. Your higher self invites you to be whole, to be a whole person. The whole secret to the secret is nothing more than just really being willing to be yourself, your full self, and act like it, and behave like it, and know that it's always in your best interests to do so. Always in your best interest to do so. Because that's the definition of being whole. The only way it would not be in your best interest is for the physical mind to make that assumption and behave as if that's true. And of course, if the physical mind believes that's true, then for the physical person, it will be true. And that will be the experience. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, but it's in your hands. It's not in ours. We are not in charge of your collective consciousness. You are. So make up your mind where you wish to be. Remember who you are. Remember that you are equal. Let go of the reasons you are not. There is on your planet another, shall we call it, methodology, permission slip, style, technique, exercise, seminar, that discusses the issues of, again, money, as a symbol, as an idea, to discuss all these things. And it talks about the symptomologies, shall we say, the signs, the symbols that represent a certain state of being. It talks about the idea of how to recognize when you are in a state of self-victimization. The three main symptoms that it talks about are that when a person is exhibiting a state of self-victimization, they will usually do three main things. They will project blame on others for their situation. They will complain about the situation that they are in. And most paradoxically of all, they will actually justify being in that state of being. Blame, complaint, justification are the three main symptoms of self-victimization. So if your behavior exhibits these qualities, then you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that's the state of being you are choosing to be in. And that will not be conducive to riding the wave, the leading edge. It will be conducive to finding a spot somewhere in one of the swirling eddies down behind the wake, somewhere down the line where you can go ahead and spin your wheels as much as you wish. Until such time as you're tired of that and decide to start going with the flow. Up to you. We cannot change that for you. We cannot. It is not in our power. It is only in our power to remind you of who you are, and then through unconditional love to allow you to choose who you prefer to be. But there are always consequences to every choice. This is not a judgment. It is not a punishment. It is simply physics. All we are suggesting is that you relax your physical mind and get with the program. It's up to you. It's your program. And we're attempting to assist you by defining in detail what the program is, so that you can have clarity about what you're doing and what you prefer to do. And so you can make choices that are based on that clarity. After your lunch break, we will continue to discuss the notion of the difference between circumstances and state of being, the profound difference between these two concepts, and how to use it in a way that will serve you. And also, we will invite question, discussion on these subjects so that you, if you have anything rattling around in your physical mind that wasn't clear to you, either in the recording or in what we have now said, that you can bring it up, because we know those questions are there. He said this, she said this. What does that mean? I didn't think it was that way. What about this? What about that? Yes, all of that after your lunch break. So gather your minds, gather your questions, gather your discussions if you have them during your lunch. Enjoy it, relax with it, absorb it. And love yourselves, love yourselves, love yourselves. We will resume this transmission after your break. We thank you. Enjoy. How's it going?
Don't matter.
Only
My state of being matters.
A+. For now, we may continue with discussion or question.
Greetings, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Good day. So, I have a very specific question for which I'd like to go through some background, and you may stop me at any time.
Stop. Take you at your word.
All right. So, yesterday you spoke about a template level of existence just above our
Yes,
reality.
the higher self level.
In which the higher self resides, yes.
Yes.
At that level, it's been my understanding that energy exists. One of the ways of perceiving energy as existing is in geometrical shapes, geometrical patterns,
Yes.
fractal patterns.
Yes.
And in this level of reality, living.
You mean your physical level,
Yes.
or the template level?
In our physical level. In
Yes.
our physical level of reality, everything is created in an approximation of that template level,
so to speak.
Okay. Now, so for example, would it be fair to say that you must be in form in order to affect form? You must be in manifest form in order to affect manifest form?
Not always.
Okay.
However, by being used to the idea of experiencing some level of manifest form, there is certainly a closer vibrational relationship that may allow for what you are referring to as ease of manipulation. Yes, in general, yes. It isn't an absolute that it must be so.
Okay.
It depends upon the level of cognizance of the consciousness, the reason for the interaction with physical form and the agreements made.
And the agreements made.
And the agreements made.
Between your personality self and your higher self, you mean? Or between
Well,
all
also,
beings existing in that?
Yes.
I see.
And any level in between.
Okay. Now, our consciousness is housed in, or perhaps this, correct me if I'm wrong, but our consciousness is housed in this vessel, right? Our bodies that we call our body.
No. Your body is housed in your consciousness.
I see. Okay.
It only appears as if your consciousness is housed in your body from a physical point of view.
Right.
The idea of your so-called spirit leaving the body is simply a physiological reality perspective of your consciousness expanding beyond the parameters of your physical manifestation. Mm-hmm. So the body is actually contained in the spirit. The spirit is not contained in the body. However, what the body does provide, and what is in a sense contained in the crystallized vibrational pattern of the physical form, is the mind. You understand?
Yes.
The mind, the physical mind, is the product of the physical form and is contained in a sense within it, but not consciousness itself. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. It is expressed through that, but it's not contained within the body.
So what I'm interested in is that expression and how that expression can be most effective, so to speak. How we can most effectively coherently channel energy from that higher plane, from that template plane, into this physical reality.
Act upon your highest joy. Every given moment to the best of your ability. That's the formula. Because that's the compass needle that aligns you to your true self. And thus, when you are acting on your highest joy, being in the vibration of your true state of being, your most natural creative state of being, that allows all communication between all such created levels to become far more homogenized, synchronous, and harmonious. Mm-hmm. Make sense?
Yes.
That's why we say following your highest joy is the driving engine and the organizing principle, not only of the things going on in physical reality, but of all levels of your being as well. It makes you a more conductive conduit.
Yes. In following my highest joy, I've become very interested, fascinated really, by the idea of, or the ideas of sacred geometrical expression.
Yes.
And creating physical objects in utilizing that knowledge in order that they best, or that they better...
that they best reflect that level of consciousness that expresses itself that way in the physical material experience.
Yes. In that search, in that exploration, let's say, I've come to find that one of the things that is used over and over, that comes up over and over, is the golden mean.
Yes.
That ratio.
Phi ratio.
Phi ratio.
1 to 1.618.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, by creating objects, like I understand that our body, our physical body, is already built in that state, and therefore it is a perfect vehicle of manifestation.
Yes.
As you say, we come in with everything that we need.
Yes. It is a perfect resonator.
It is a perfect resonator.
Yes.
However, you still, from what I understand, your society still builds, for example, ships.
Yes.
What is the purpose of that? Could you achieve that simply with your body, or are the ships acting as an extension of your body?
The ships are acting as an extension, and they are also for the purpose of interacting with dimensions such as yours that still require physical symbols.
Aha. How long do you foresee our dimension requiring those physical symbols? I mean,
about 1,000 of your years.
Okay, so because I am very interested in developing those type of technologies.
Yes, and many people on your planet have begun to do so.
Yes. my question to you then is,
yes.
Where do you recommend, like, how do you recommend I best, what's the source?
How to begin?
Yes, how to begin, where to look.
Research now on what you call your internet system, anti-gravity lifters. Start there.
Okay.
You will find that these are constructions of very light materials, primarily what you call balsa wood and aluminum, being given electrical charges of high voltage. They will begin to exhibit levitation effects, and as you begin to grow in your experience and research and gain more practice with these and understand the effects that are being created, then you will gain more insight into how to take the next step.
Okay. Thank you for that. That interests me as well. However, I wasn't necessarily referring to only propulsional systems.
Neither am I.
Ah.
Because the principles are the same for any kind of energy delivery system. It's just a matter of how you channel the energy that you're tapping into from higher dimensions as to what kind of an effect you create. Be it simply powering things, or creating ships, or opening dimensional gateways, or what have you.
Music.
That too, since it is all about resonance.
It is. So I have here an instrument that I brought. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It is called the hung.
Define.
Would you like me to show you, demonstrate?
By all means.
All right, thank you.
Just exactly what are you unzipping?
So this is this is an instrument. It's an instrument similar to a steel drum.
All right.
It is a steel drum.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
That's quite similar.
Yeah. It was created in the year 2000 by a Swiss man. Yes. Here you go. This is the hung.
Show it from the side. Bashar, it looks like a UFO, our definition of a flying saucer.
All right.
So, and here's how it sounds. Okay, now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, one of the things sometimes people will say when they see the crafts on your planet that you refer to as UFOs, sometimes they will be silent, but very often they will also describe hearing different kinds of resonant tones in association with the craft. People on your planet have assumed, because of the way your technology works, that the sounds are the result or the effect of the motivation of the craft, when in fact the sounds are the motivating force of the craft.
Wow. Uh-huh.
Vibration is the key. And you are on your way to understanding this, quite musically.
Yes.
Understand that we have described the concept of moving from location to location in a different way than your people think of location. The idea is that location is not a place that an object exists in. Location is one of the properties of the object. And an object in location A is not the same object when it is in location B, because now it has the vibrational resonant variable of location B, and that makes it a different object.
Yes.
If the object in location A were suddenly engulfed and overwhelmed by the vibration equation that represents the object in location B, the object would simply have no choice but to move to location B instantaneously, because that's its new vibrational signature.
I see.
So if you make sure that the craft in that sense is very, very thin and light, so that there is not that much material in it, and so that a vibrational resonance can easily overwhelm the natural vibration of its tendency to stay in one location, then it will have no choice but to take its cue from the new vibration and move.
I see.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. If I may, one more
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
So, in the if, as I said, I don't know if you can see this on a physical level as...
We can sense the energy involved.
All right, well...
We see it as an intricate, interwoven web of patterns.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, as I see it, in a physical form, in its physical form,
yes,
it is very close approximation of a 3D rendering of the object known as a vesica Pisces, the intersection of two circles.
Yes.
I've theorized that if it were a more perfect rendering of that, it would increase its, let's say, efficiency, potentiality.
Your theory is correct.
I see.
Although there are variations depending upon the different dimensions that such a device may choose to inhabit.
Can you please clarify that?
Your dimension, in that sense, will look at the vesica Pisces in a certain way, but in other dimensions, it will be of a slightly different shape, although to them it will appear to be normal, but to you it would appear to be distorted.
I see.
Because of the dimensional vibrational difference.
I see.
Nevertheless, it is the change and shift in frequency that represents the distortion that allows the craft to go from one dimension to another. But you can begin with what you understand to be the perfect ratio for your reality.
Mm-hmm. Now, and so in that sense, would you still recommend that I research the same thing that you recommended? The
I would.
Okay.
Because it still has to do with resonance, and there is still much for you to discover in that concept. Use what works. You don't have to use what doesn't. But there are bits of information in there that you will be able to add to what you are doing that will make a difference down the road.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right?
All right.
Does that help you?
That does help me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what we are talking about working on here today with the concept of flipping the switch and using the concept of your shifting through parallel realities to get a better bead on the idea, a more precise understanding of the idea of manifesting the parallel reality you prefer, is to focus on the idea of creating a greater degree of difference than you normally do, so that you will be able to feel the shift, to see the shift, to perceive the shift more viscerally, more concretely. And the idea, thus then, is to allow yourself the opportunity to let go of the definitions that you have been brought up to believe are necessary for the labeling and defining and designing of the parallel realities that you do already automatically experience, so that you can design, in a sense, the parallel reality that is more in alignment with the parallel realities or sequence of parallel realities that you prefer, that are more representative of your true nature, your true core frequency, your true natural self, your true vibration. Here's what you can begin to do. Just have an overall image, an overall representation of your life as it is. In whatever way that comes to you, just to paint a picture, like you're looking at a movie screen if you wish, and just see up on that screen, see yourself, see an image of you, going about the things that you are already doing in life. Nothing different than what you're already doing. It can be anything on a day-to-day basis, this and that, big or small, doesn't matter. Just see yourself as you are. Now, when you are ready, blank the screen, wipe the screen. Now, replace it with an image of yourself going about your day-to-day business in what you consider to be, for now, your preferred, desired, ideal reality, your ideal life. Fill that movie screen with your image and look at all the things, create all the things in it that are representative of what the things are you would be going about doing in your ideal life, your ideal reality. Some of them may be the same. Some of them may be different. Whatever it is, just take a look at it. Now, in your mind's eye, put those two screens side by side or one above the other. Look at one screen that represents your life as it is. Look at the other image on the other screen that represents your life as you would prefer it to be. Notice the differences. Notice the differences. Notice the similarities, but notice the differences. Whatever differences you noticed, from small to large, are the things that represent vibrationally, symbolically, representationally, that ideal life. Whatever symbol you conjured up represents vibrationally that preferred parallel reality. Because that is a real, already existing parallel reality. And that version of you in that reality already exists as a real person in that universe, in that reality, which is a completely different reality than the screen that represents your life as it is right now. Again, allow yourself to remember the differences, but understand that these two realities coexist right now, simultaneously, interpenetrated, overlapping, only separated by the slightest difference in vibrational energy. Now, it may be a slight difference, but if the picture looks very different, then it is a difference that is enough of a difference in vibration that you are noticing the difference. And that's the key. Different enough that you notice the difference. Different enough so that it's not in your mind, as you are used to experiencing, a smooth continuity from one second to the next, but would be representative of some time passing in between. In other words, some of you might see the image of the life as it is now, see the image of the life that you prefer, and you might automatically find yourself assuming that it would require some span of time in order for one to change to the other. The thing to understand is that it actually, in a sense, requires less time than you think, and in fact actually uses no time at all. When you decide, when you choose to actually be that person in that reality, it will happen instantaneously as a shift from whatever parallel reality you were experiencing a moment before that. But you can create the illusion of process, the illusion of time lag, the illusion of linear continuity to make it seem as if it's taking time to become or experience that reality. But that reality exists right now. So manifestation in this context is simply the degree to which you are willing to allow the definition, no matter how different it looks, to actually be real right now. To know that it exists right now, and most importantly, in this particular permission slip, to be willing to actually be that person in that representation right now. When you go back now and look at the two images you created, and if you see differences in them, one of the differences you will probably see is a difference in how you behave in the two realities. Many people on your planet, when they imagine themselves going through their day-to-day existence as it is now, and then imagine themselves going through their day-to-day existence in the reality they prefer, will suddenly realize there is a great degree of difference in your behavior, in your body language, in what you're wearing, in your attitude, in your energy. Look at the difference in you in those two images. It is important to understand the following. This principle is paramount here. You cannot experience what you are not already the vibration of. So the idea is, if you see that version of you in that preferred ideal reality, doing certain things, the you are now is not capable of experiencing those things unless you actually start being the person in that image. If you don't behave like that person, dress like that person, talk like that person, walk like that person, think like that person, feel like that person, you will not experience the things that person is experiencing, because that is not just a different version of you. It is a different person, literally, entirely. And you, the greater you, as a consciousness, can shift between the person you're experiencing yourself to be now and the person that is represented in that ideal scenario. That you, the bigger you, the consciousness that you are, will be the same, but the person, the physical construct, the temporary personality that you consider yourself to be as a physical being will literally not be the same person, because you are not the same person from moment to moment to moment to moment. As we already said, billions and billions of times a second, you're actually becoming literally, quite literally, not metaphorically, quite literally, a new person billions of times a second. The idea, again, here is to pay attention consciously to the fact that you can design the person, design the reality to be different enough so that you can actually tell the difference, that it is really a different reality, a different you, a different universe. And that's what this exercise is designed to do, is look at the differences so that you can know that when you shift, you're shifting totally, utterly, totally, and instantaneously. There is no real time lag at all between becoming one reality and another, between experiencing yourself as one person and another. None whatsoever. But you can create this continuity, this illusion that there is, or you can start to let that go. Now, it will not let go entirely, of course, as long as you still have a reason to experience the physical reality idea at all. We are not talking about eliminating it completely, although from time to time, as you do these kinds of exercises, as you gain this kind of insight and this kind of knowledge, you may find space and time becoming a little more slippery. You may find things happening very rapidly, maybe sometimes even instantaneously here and there. This will be somewhat sporadic, but it can accelerate. Nevertheless, you will still retain some sense of space-time in order to have a context in which to experience the idea you call physical reality, but you can allow your experience of it to become something far more different than what you're experiencing now, accelerate it far more rapidly than what you're experiencing now. Again, not literally accelerating it. When I say accelerate it, I mean experience as if you were accelerating, because you're already shifting as fast as you can. You're already shifting totally. So you can't shift more than you do. You can't shift faster than you do. What you can change is your perception, your experience of the idea, so that you can become aware of the fact that you are shifting totally, shifting instantaneously. That's the whole idea to this exercise, to become aware of the fact that you're already shifting totally, already shifting instantaneously, and you can't go any faster. The way, as we said, to recognize that is to create a parallel reality that is different enough that you notice that you're shifting immediately and totally. So the idea is, as you see that image and you see that version of you there, start from this moment forward, from this day forward. Start being, start behaving, start mimicking that version of you. Because that's what your imagination, that's what your visualization is for, is to create the state. Because if you really, really are having an image in your mind that's representative of your ideal reality, not only will the version of you in that picture, look excited, you'll start to feel excited about that reality. You'll feel that energy now. It will start to leak into you from that image. That's what it's for. That's its job, to put you in the proper state that is representative of the ideal reality, no matter how that reality actually will appear physically.